Do you guys know who Aisha Ceballos Crump is?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No?
She's a notable alumni and got her Bachelor's of Science degree from here, Chemical Engineering, in 1999. And she came to Purdue from 1995 to 1999. But she received her Chemical Engineering Bachelor's degree in 1999.
And then she went and she worked in the beauty industry for 17 years until she was finally able to accomplish her lifelong dream. Do you guys have any idea what that could be?
No,
No?
but I'm intrigued.
I know.
To become an entrepreneur.
Of course.
So she founded her company, Honey Baby Naturals, in 2016, which has secured most major and several hundred independent beauty retailers nationwide. So she's notably the first Latina woman to own a natural hair and skin company in major retail markets, which is super cool.
Yeah. I mean, and you would think, with chemical engineering, they're going to work in petroleum, right? Or as you guys know, with pairing people with internships and co-ops or helping students with that, you wouldn't think chemical engineering would necessarily go into beauty products and that kind of thing, but it's such a big part.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
We certainly have a large population of students actually interested in that. Yes.
And Procter & Gamble is a big recruiter, I know, from our campus as well with chemical. And I know biomedical, we go work there a lot. I knew a lot of people that worked at Procter & Gamble. But, I mean, even working in the beauty industry, not the first thing that I would jump to is chemical engineer, but I mean, it makes so much sense when you start to really think about it.
You would think that I'm making this up, but ironically, an alumni came back to visit us today. She graduated in December, and she's working at Procter & Gamble in the hair care sector.
Wow.
That's
so
awesome.
What timely
What did she
noting.
get from here? What was her degree? Do you remember?
Chemical engineering.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez. It's almost like we knew this was
Almost.
coming, right? we actually put her to come to your office today. That was us. That's a ploy. Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and get into the introduction today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Coffee Break with Purdue Engineering, the gateway to your next giant leap. In this podcast series, we discuss the many engineering programs and majors here at Purdue through conversational interviews between current Purdue students and Purdue staff and faculty. I'm Nick Buffo, a senior in biomedical engineering, continuing on to medical school in the fall of 2024.
And I'm Calvin Given, a current junior in electrical engineering with a minor in business economics. We really hope you enjoy our show, and it helps answer some of the questions about what it's like to be an engineering student here at Purdue.
Awesome. Welcome back to this week's episode. We're going to actually hear about the mission, opportunities, and some of the overview of what is Purdue's Office of Professional Practice that's housed within the Purdue's College of Engineering. So again, I'm one of your hosts, Nick Buffo.
And I'm Calvin Given, and this week we're joined by the Assistant Director of Co-op Programs and Student Development, Jenny Strickland, and the Associate Director of the Office of Professional Practice, Joe Tort. If you guys wouldn't mind introducing yourselves real quick.
Welcome, Jenny and Joe.
Yes.
Awesome. Is it okay to use Jenny and Joe?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
The Jenny and Joe show today.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. Well, yeah, Joe Tort, I've been here at Purdue for 12 years now, in the OPP for 10.
Wow.
So it's a wonderful place to work. Every day is an amazing opportunity to work with brilliant students like yourselves.
Thank you. Where are you from originally, Joe?
Michigan, so not so far from here, but had some stops along the way. Lived in Colorado for some time, and part of the great job that I have here also involves some travel internationally. So I've been to maybe 40 different countries around the world.
Cool. What part in Colorado?
Little town called Greeley, about 50 miles north of Denver.
Okay. Yeah, I am originally from one of the suburbs of Denver, Lakewood. So
Okay.
I was wondering if it was nearby or not.
Yeah.
Very cool. And I'm Jenny Strickland, and I just got to tell everybody, Joe has this mug in his office. It is so cool. It was gifted by a student. It is a world map, and so he gets to color in everywhere he's gone. And it's one of my favorite little things to see when he gets
really
back
cool.
from somewhere new. So I'm Jenny Strickland. Thanks so much for having us here today. I work in the Office of Professional Practice. It's my third year, but I've been back on campus since 2015. You may know me from group fitness classes at the Co-Rec, where I was before coming here.
Oh, wow.
And graduated from Purdue as well, so I'm an alum, very proud of it, and love doing what I do, and I'm excited to get to talk about it with you today.
And where are you from originally, Jenny?
A mixture of the Chicago suburbs and the region, Munster, Indiana, if you've heard of it.
I have.
Yeah.
We get a lot of people from the region.
I've heard of the
here.
Munster cheese, but
Yeah,
not Munster,
not
Indiana.
the same one.
Awesome. So what class did you teach? Just for curiosity, what did you teach?
Yeah, I taught actually all of them.
Okay.
But But
Okay. Do you have a
my
favorite?
favorite probably would be cycling, yoga, or the Zumba dance fitness. And I know that's very eclectic, but it's just a ton of fun.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You get to stay in shape and also get to work out and have fun while you're at it too.
Yeah.
I know I've done a couple of those classes over at Purdue, and they've been so much fun. I always love the instructors. They're very energetic. So
Yeah.
I know
It's a good time.
5 o'clock in the
Did you ever
morning.
get into the water aerobics?
I did. I wasn't very good at it, but you know, you got to try something, right?
That was
Yeah.
my jam all
You
through
gotta give
college.
it your
Water
shot.
aerobics.
Yeah, I used to teach that.
Wow.
Wow, see something we have in common.
Did you guys just find this out too?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I prefer being a land-bearing human being.
Not a water fan, Calvin.
Yeah, not a huge water fan. I can swim, but I'll run before I swim for a workout.
That is so cool. I love that we made that connection too here, that you all now knew something new. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into some of our questions that we've got for y'all today. So what, are the missions and purposes of the Office of Professional Practice?
Yeah, so the Office of Professional Practice, we sit within the College of Engineering. So engineering students are our primary focus, but we serve the entire campus. And what we do is what we call work-integrated experiential learning. If we had to say what our purpose is flatly, it's to make sure that students leave this university and enter into valuable careers where they're going to make an impact on the world. And it's not simply, I think, about getting jobs, but getting the types of jobs that they are going to be happy with, that can bring joy to their lives and bring joy to other people's lives. So we do that in a variety of ways. We operate different experiential learning programs where students can get academic certificates or minors. So we run the university-wide co-op about a program that's about ready to celebrate its 70th year.
Wow. That's awesome.
Currently ranked in the top 10 of the U.S., I think number 3 in public schools. So,
Wow.
So a pretty good program. We have global programs like the GEARE program, something that's very unique here, where our students have the opportunity to work and study abroad, and a lot of other opportunities for students to really focus in on the industries that they like to go into, as well as we do a lot of training for those students too, so that they can be successful when they get those opportunities.
Yeah. I think it's really important to note, too, that our program's completely voluntary. So you may have friends at other schools in engineering who have to do co-op to graduate. That's not the case here. And it's definitely something we're proud of, being ranked with it being a voluntary program.
Right, and so, how many students typically take part in the co-op experience, or at least just come into your doors at some point throughout the year?
Within our sphere of programs last year, 4,500 students, around 2,000 formally participating in the co-op program.
Wow. And so when it's voluntary like that, it seems like you guys are doing a great job. If people are making the effort then to come in, it's great to utilize that resource.
Well, we're helping them find the things that they're really interested in, I think.
Yeah.
But that's what y'all are here for. And that's the great part about the resources that y'all have for the students, and that, they can use them. So now, how do they find access to these resources? How, other than just coming to the office, and if that's a great option, but are there, ways that they can connect with y'all, or how do they find out once they're a student here at Purdue? For
sure. So one of the first things that an FYE student can do is register for our 1-credit seminar course we run in the fall. It is called Engineering 10301, and it's Intro to Professional Practice, or First Year Professional Development. It's really unique because with being a 1-credit seminar, you're doing a lot of the things you would be doing in your job search, creating resumes, practicing interviewing, learning about what it looks like to do the job search in general. And we bring in different industry speakers. I'll talk about that more in a little bit, I'm sure. But that would be the first recommendation I have in order to get connected. If you go to our website, opp.purdue.edu, there is a button right in the center of the page that says database. If you click on it, you'll get access to what's called Simplicity. It's our web-hosted management system where employers will post co-op opportunities, internship opportunities, and there's a lot posted throughout the year. It's something students can go in, update their profiles, put in their preferences, find all sorts of neat opportunities, not only in industry, but maybe in research, maybe things coming up on campus that are pertinent to what they're looking for. It's definitely a great area to start.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I know I've signed up for emails from the Simplicity, and it's amazing the fact that I get like a new email every week of there's new job postings that you would probably be interested in or be qualified for. And it's just really cool the amount of companies that you guys have connections with and that Purdue as a whole has connections with, to give students these opportunities.
Yeah, and I think that if you're on campus virtually every day, you'll have an
my gosh.
opportunity to engage with a company.
Totally.
So,
Every day I walk
They pop
by.
up all over the place, all the time.
And
all
in the
atriums.
individual majors buildings, but also just like housed, at the Stewart Center or something. I know I've walked by and I've been like, oh, wow, I didn't realize Boeing was on campus today. Or I
Right?
didn't realize, Eli Lilly was here, and then they've got 10 recruiters with them, and they're
Yeah.
actively recruiting students. And so it's great that, it's at your fingertips, both online in simplicity, but also just right in front of you, at the door. And it's really great to know that students can take part in that as well.
Yeah.
So
Purdue's definitely a hub for talent, and both employers and students alike know it. And it's something that's really neat to get to be part of.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So I know you mentioned the Engineering 103 class. Do you want to talk a little bit more about what that is and how it can help students prepare for interviews and the career fairs on campus?
Yeah, absolutely. It is one of my favorite things. It is such a great way to get connected and get involved from day one. Purdue's a really big place. And so it's a way to come in and, establish a relationship with peers, with a professor, with an instructor, and get connected. So each week in that course, you are doing things of professional development that will help you in the job search, that will prepare you and connect you. So one example I'll give is we have a co-op alum. Her name is Jana Goldberg. She works at Air Products, and she's just wonderful. She came in, she spoke to our class, talked about the power of networking and some tips on how to approach recruiters. This was right before IR, and she was one of the folks there at IR, so she gave some kind of background, sneak peek tips of how you can present yourself, being confident, right? Looking someone in the eye, not going up to a recruiter and saying, "What does your company do?" But going with the information
Little
of
homework beforehand goes a long way.
Exactly. Teaching the premise of doing your homework beforehand. And so students who are in this course get access to this kind of information and get to connect with industry early, not only with folks who are engineers, hiring managers, or recruiters, but getting exposure to those companies as well before they come back for a career fair, an employer info night, things like that.
And for our listeners, too, that are listening in, Industrial Roundtable, or IR, is what we were mentioning. And so if this is the first time you've heard it, I really encourage you head online and check it out. It's a really great experience for students and the Purdue students that that there's over 400 employers coming in that 2-day period. So if you want more information on IR, definitely check that out. But I know IR is a great experience. We don't just turn our students to it like to the wolves, right? We have these courses built in that they can utilize, right? And they can go take this class as a freshman and get ready to prepare for IR.
Yeah, and the best part about it is that you are immediately paired with a mentor. We have undergraduate teaching assistants that are all Purdue students, Purdue engineers, who have taken this course before, who have done a lot of the curriculum in the various disciplines, and they're all assigned to a cohort of students. So you'll have a group to connect with right away, an upperclassman to connect with right away to help you get connected on campus, give you real-time feedback, help you with prep for interviews, looking over your resume, you name it.
Yeah, and I would say in addition to the professional skills course, we've actually created a lot of courses that we call industry knowledge courses using the same 103. We have a lot of these courses that we offer in the spring semester, and these are about students being able to really learn a lot more broadly about an industry and how different engineering disciplines can play a role in that industry. So we have a very popular course actually being live streamed across the nation on Wednesday afternoons. If anyone checks that out, it's called Changing the World with Chips, our Intro to Semiconductors course. Each week we have a different speaker from a different company coming in. A lot of times vice presidents from companies and such interacting with our students in different ways. We have one in pharmaceutical manufacturing and drug development. We have one in what we call smart cities. We're talking on that area. Silicon Valley and the tech industry. Actually taking a group of students to Silicon Valley over spring break.
Yeah, I get to lead that trip.
You're going to go?
So
Oh, that's exciting. So cool.
Yeah. Visiting some of the major companies, Apple and Google. And what was it last year, Jenny, at Apple? We were the first college.
We were the first student group allowed to enter the actual Apple facility in Cupertino.
The big circle, right?
Yes.
The infinite loop, I think they call it, right?
It's called Apple Park.
Wow.
Wow.
I know I've seen like the videos online. I've always wondered how we could get in there. I didn't know I could do it as a Purdue student.
Do it
I should have
through
done
Purdue.
it. That's so cool. Just the ability to learn about these industries, right? Because semiconductors, you can do it through multiple engineering, disciplines, right? And so each one has a vital aspect. But in our first year students, not a lot of them know that that's the case, right? And how they can actually touch a vital component of that industry until they take some of these courses. And that's the spring semester when they're starting to make their decision on their disciplines, right?
That's right.
So, and within that, they get to learn, what does that specific major kind of play into, but also how you can approach all these different industries from a different way.
Yeah. Well, I think that leads to another cool thing that we do with our 103 in the fall. As you mentioned, students here are deciding what engineering fields that they're going to be in their first year engineering. And one of the things that we do to help that is we have a first year engineering career exploration night, which is an opportunity for students to engage with our alumni. How many alums and students did we have go through this last year?
It was incredible. We had about 95 alums here. These are all
Wow.
folks working as engineers. And we had, I think it was almost, definitely over 1,000, maybe close to 1,100 students who came to this event. Not
Wow.
required, but it really showed there's a need and a desire for
Yes.
students to learn and understand what the different disciplines do.
Yeah, and
That's
the
so
the
cool.
goal is, let's just talk to an engineer who's doing things on the day-to-day cycle. So
yeah.
Right.
what does an electrical engineer do at a semiconductor company? What does an industrial engineering do at a pharmaceutical company?
Yeah.
Or so really trying to figure out what it is that you're doing on the day-to-day so you can make a good decision about what it is that you want to study and what you want to be.
We also host that in the co-rec on purpose. We don't want you to get dressed up. You want to
Yeah.
come in your basketball shorts and go get on the court afterwards, please do. We
That's
want
great.
it to be low-key, come as you are, really just take a second and explore what's out there.
That's amazing. I mean, I know that's an integral part of our first year engineering program is that career and major exploration to be able to say, yes, this is the major that I want to pursue in the future. And it's really cool that you guys are able to weave your courses in with that overall mission of the first year program. And I know you mentioned the interview skills and the resume stuff, and that's just amazing that there's opportunities through those classes. I unfortunately didn't take advantage of those, and so I showed up to IR and I was the kid asking, okay, what does your company do? And I learned real quick that was not how you get an interview from a recruiter. And so it's really cool that you guys can give students the opportunities to have that knowledge before they walk up to the career fair.
And I think one of the common themes that we always talk about on this podcast, when we have all these groups, and great individuals on, is that it's really up to the students to kind of, make the
Yes.
initiative and take the class or go to the workshops. And so we always, strongly encourage students to take advantage of it. But we really say, when we have these opportunities available for students to be able to jump on that and, be willing in your first year to go and learn, because there's a lot for you to learn, I think, as a first year student. I know I didn't take advantage of all the resources because I was kind of that kid that was like, I'll figure it out eventually. But there's resources here, as we're hearing, that it can help you prepare and save time, first of all, so you're not having to learn it on your own, but second of all, that you can learn from professionals and learn from people who have already been through it. I think it's a very common thing, and that a lot of people forget about, is that you got to go where the people are talking.
Yeah. Gotta get your butt up out of the seat and walk to wherever you need to be in order to get there.
Yeah. So what is the GEARE program? I know you mentioned it earlier, and I know that we always love our acronyms. We were just talking about this last podcast. We love our acronyms in higher education. What is GEARE? And, what are some of the things that you can do and the requirements to be accepted?
Yeah, GEARE, we just celebrated our 20th anniversary of the GEARE program. GEARE stands for the Global Engineering Alliance for Research and Education. It's a very unique program. It's pretty much the most global thing that you could do at any campus. So a student here who would do GEARE, they would earn a minor in global engineering studies.
Okay.
They would they have to study some foreign language, so at least through intermediate level, but a lot of our students go on and maybe do a second minor in a language. Maybe they get a second degree in a language as well. Majority of the students come out fluent in that language no matter what they decide to do academically with it. They have to study abroad for a full semester. They have to do work experiences both domestically and internationally.
Okay.
So we connect them with global companies for which they may have the opportunity to work both here and abroad with that company. And they also do intercultural training courses. So the goal of this program is to not only have really competent technical engineers, but engineers who are really adept at communicating, solving problems, understanding that, okay, maybe the math and science of engineering doesn't change across the world, but the way that people do it, the way that people think about it, the way that companies interact with each other, well, that changes. So these are folks who will be able to adapt to working anywhere in the world. They'll be able to adapt to working with people from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
They'll be able to hear many ideas. They'll be able to take those ideas in so they can be most innovative. And ultimately, I believe the students who finish this program are really set up to move very quickly within their organizations to leadership positions. And many of our alums actually work globally immediately after graduating.
Wow. And I know, I mean, our world is ever connected. I mean, we, especially corporations, are global and international and working across borders, especially with, the advancements in technology, with plane travel. I mean, you are going to have to work international when you are an engineer at some point in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
So it's really great to know that you can get that experience and have kind of an advantage in that. But also, I think it's very useful and valuable. And I know we were talking before the podcast about using language, but I think that's such, a thing that's overlooked, I feel like sometimes in the industry, is that, you're going to work with people who don't speak the same language or learn the same way you did. But having that experience is great. And I know those are some of the advantages. Any other advantages to doing GEARE? Is there networking or, those things that we like to talk about?
Yeah. So, I mean, networking is big. We have more than 1,000 alums. And
Wow.
as part of the program, we do connect students with alumni mentors as they're getting ready to go abroad. So they might be connecting with people in their same areas or connecting with people who are working in the countries that they're going to. So it's a broad network of individuals. And as you mentioned on the language piece, right? So you may be working for a global company where the language of use is English, but you go there and you work on a day-to-day. The people who are there, they're having lunch, they're speaking the foreign language.
Yeah.
And to really understand what's going on, the ethos of the company and your coworkers, being able to speak another language, really an important thing.
Yeah, Joe mentioned it's the 20th anniversary, and so this summer I got the opportunity to join Joe and other colleagues in Germany to celebrate.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was incredible. There were people there from the first ever GEARE cohort.
Really?
Wow.
And ironically, I ended up connecting to some German students who were my age, who were at Purdue at the same time as me, going through GEARE, and we had never met. And it was so refreshing to hear their Purdue experience and my Purdue experience being so similar.
Yeah.
From them being from another country. But I created some really great friendships out of that trip, and it really does
so
show
cool.
just the human connectedness in general. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's a interesting thing to mention is the friendships that you're going to make while you're abroad. People that you're going to be friends with for your whole life. Some people who you may even marry.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
several GEARE marriages amongst our alums.
That is, I mean, I know I had an opportunity to study abroad while I was here at Purdue, and I just, it's so invaluable an experience. Like you learn so much that I don't think, originally I saw just in that 2 weeks, but the months after I started to learn, and ours was focused on biomedical engineering in Scandinavia. And I went with two professors of mine, and it was so cool because while I was there, I got to talk with some professors, but when I got home, I really thought about, what does university look like in Denmark, or what does university look like in Sweden, and how do they approach it? And it, helped actually me learn some different techniques and strategies to use and how I approach my coursework. And I never, I think, would have gotten that if I didn't go there. And so I encourage, I guess I'm biased in saying this. I've studied abroad a couple of times, but I think everyone should have some sort of global experience. And working abroad or learning a language, I think everyone should have that.
Yeah, you learn how to learn in a different way, right?
You do.
Yeah.
You really do.
And that's something that you're going to have to do throughout your whole life is learn how to learn in different ways, learn how to adapt to different things.
Yeah, and by going abroad, you're also getting exposed to different cultures, different people,
Yeah.
where they're going to challenge not only the way you learn and other beliefs that you have, to where you can either really cement those as being a part of you or as being a misconception or the wrong way to do it. And so it's invaluable experience to go abroad, whether you're studying abroad or just get a trip or a chance to travel abroad. It's amazing. And so I know that we're going to switch gears a little bit. I know
not
No pun
punny
intended.
there. Yeah, no pun intended. We're switching gears.
wasn't even thinking about that. But I know the OPP offers some scholarships. Could you tell us what those are and how students might apply for them?
Yeah, definitely. For students who are in co-op and GEARE, we've had some generous donors, some impactful co-op alum as well that we celebrate and who have set aside some funds to help those students who are in co-op and GEARE. So there's a cycle each year. It usually happens in November where current co-op and GEARE students can apply for scholarships in varying dollar amounts from $400 all the way to $1,000 that they can then use towards their next semester's tuition, housing, whatever it may be.
That's awesome.
And you have to be a part of the co-op. What were some of the requirements? So you got to be a part of the co-op program?
Yes,
Or
you
the
have
GEARE
to be a
program,
part
right?
of co-op or
GEARE.
GEARE.
Okay.
Being registered in the affiliated courses with either one. And as a registered student in those programs, you'll then get an invitation to apply.
Awesome.
And we do have some new scholarship programs that we're looking to launch that the students that will come to Purdue will be able to take advantage of. So part of our co-op and internship program coming this summer is we will be launching co-op and interns of the term.
Okay.
Actually,
wow.
Actually nominated by the companies that they work for. So we're really excited about this option, and likely this is going to grow and we'll have even more and more numbers of those. So we're looking to reward really good performance of our students.
Mm-hmm. And talking about scholarships too, this is our first year partnering with Lilly on a program that's called the Lilly Scholars Program. So students who are interested in applying to Purdue for next year, perhaps, could apply for the Lilly Scholars Program, where not only will you have your tuition covered, but you will get an opportunity to have an internship at Lilly at some point in your career.
Wow.
So you can find more information about that on our website.
Pretty
It's
much the
fairly
full 9
new.
yards.
Yeah,
Everything
it's
you
pretty
need.
neat.
Yeah. All right. And last but not least, what are some of these Milestones technical skills courses?
Yeah.
I signed up for one, not knowing it was you all, my freshman year. But what is it? What is Milestones?
Yeah, great question. So working with company, working with industry, we get a lot of feedback. Most of it being Purdue students are excellent. They're great at all these different things. One common trend was that sometimes, especially if you're hiring someone out of their first or second year, some of those technical skills may not be yet as developed.
Okay.
So things such as programming with Arduino, CAD, finite element analysis, 3D printing, GD&T, right? All sorts of these technical type skills. We're offering a host of workshops that students can enroll in. It's about 15 hours of work. It is not graded, which everyone seems to love. It gives you the opportunity to mess up. It gives you the opportunity to do better each time. So we have open lab times each week for a student to be enrolled in this course, and we do offer some asynchronously. Now, you do have to be on campus to participate because there is lab work involved, but it does give you a chance to develop those skills. And once you successfully pass the course and pass the module, you earn a micro certificate. We'll give you a digital badge you can display on your LinkedIn, and it is a certificate that you'll get through the College of Engineering saying you completed the certain milestone.
That's so
That's
cool.
awesome.
If you're a freshman, really valuable for you to be able to go out and get some skills, put those on your resume so that you are more valuable for companies, more competitive for the internship opportunities. Also for students who might be in certain majors, they want to acquire skills that might not be the skills that are normally studied in their major, has a chance to make yourself more versatile.
Yeah,
And
they're
I-
completely free.
That's what I was just about to ask.
Yeah.
Is there a cost?
No cost. The cost is your time.
That's so, which can be valuable too.
Sure.
Yeah, but I know I took Intro to Electronics, and that was one that is not normally taught. I mean, we do have an electronics course in biomedical engineering, but not the way that I approached it with Milestones. So I got to learn Calvin's background in electrical engineering over in Milestones, and I think when I got to that project in that class of biomedical engineering, I was ready to start it because of Milestones.
I love to hear that. That's fantastic.
I was not paid to say that by Office of Professional Practice.
Yeah.
So, but that's so cool. So any requirements to get into them, or do students just apply?
No, you can just apply. We offer them every 8 weeks.
Okay.
So during the fall and spring term, you could do it. And you can also be in more than one at once. People ask me that all the time.
Okay.
And I wouldn't recommend signing up for them all, but you can do 2 at once if you feel you have the capacity to do so.
Yeah, and it sounds like there are amazing ways to differentiate yourself from other Purdue students and from anyone who's external to Purdue. Just differentiate yourself in general when you're talking about yourself. That's something you can tell a recruiter, say, I have done this and have the actual experience working on something similar, or if not the same thing, as you guys are working on. And that's invaluable in an interview.
Just another way to prepare us for the industry.
Yes.
And having that.
Yeah, it really does. When students are looking for that co-op opportunity, especially as first-year students, as Joe mentioned, they may have a resume that is only updated with what they participated in high school, which is great. You can use a lot of those things to speak to your strengths and skills. But for that engineering experience, it's a way to get your foot in the door without having work experience in the field.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that one.
No worries. All right.
So thank you so much, Jenny and Joe. It's been a pleasure having you on the show here. We've thoroughly enjoyed you both.
We have.
And it's been a great conversation with you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
We do have one more question for the both of you, one little closing question. What's one suggestion you have for students who are looking for industry experience while here at Purdue? Like, how can they get involved in that, and is it worth it?
That's a good one. For those students who are listening, or families who are listening maybe, who are interested in the concept of co-op, I would tell you on a broad scale, for the places you're looking at or wondering about, understand what their definition of co-op is. Because here at Purdue, it's voluntary. Here at Purdue, to participate in co-op, you work a total of 3 times for the minimum requirement. It's called our industry certificate. 3 times, 2 of which with the same employer, and 1 happening in fall or spring, so you can get that progressive experience, that longevity. So the advice that comes with that is knowing the definition, right, of where you're going, what you're looking at, but also finding a mentor, someone that can walk you through the process, someone that has your best interest in mind. Don't be afraid to make that ask early on. Finding a mentor is one of the best things you can do.
Yeah, and I think it's critical for students, especially in engineering, to get practical experience. You've got to go out there. You've got to apply what you learn. You're learning heavy theory, but you got to know how that's going to be used, right? So you have to find that opportunity. I think Purdue's a great place. We have a lot of opportunities for students to connect with industry, whether that's an internship or co-ops that will really get them going on their careers, or even global opportunities for those students. And the other piece of advice is, I know doing technical things as an engineer are really important, but to be really good in the workplace, you have to work on some other skills too. You have to work on what we call the soft skills.
Soft skills. I was about to say that.
Communication, some self-reflection, some self-knowledge of who you are, what you're strong at, what you can be better at. Those types of things you have to think about, and you have to learn how to communicate those types of things. And it's not always easy to go out and talk to people. You have to build that. You have to practice that little steps at a time sometimes. And I think there's a great support network here at Purdue for you to practice those things.
You gotta show up.
Yes.
Sometimes if you go to an employer info session and there's only 5 people there, guess what? You're one of those 5 people they're gonna remember.
Yes.
And asking the questions, as you all were saying, that you help prepare, but also making the connections and talking, just telling your story and learning what they are, what they stand for, and if that matches up, it can be a great opportunity. So
the recruiters can often seem intimidating, but you just got to remember they are people just like you.
Exactly.
Well, and I would say almost 90% of the recruiters that you see on our campus were once like you.
Definitely.
On our campus.
Studying late night.
I do know I've seen that at IR, that a lot of them are Purdue students, and I've seen my friends there recruiting. So
love it.
All right. Well, that's actually going to conclude this week's episode. So as always, please reach out to the Office of Future Engineers with any further questions, and I'm guessing they can find the Office of Professional Practice information online with any questions, both current and prospective students, correct?
We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.